Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's workshop. So NUS Fintech Month is actually an annual flagship event organized by the NUS Fintech Society to provide the next generation of business leaders, entrepreneurs, developers, and other professionals to develop and apply new financial technologies, business practices, both now and well into the future. With that, we have prepared a series of workshops, panel discussions, and a fun hackathon. So before I start, could I get all attendees to turn on their camera? So in today's workshop, we're happy to have Daniel, a software engineer from Pyth Data Association, with prior experiences as a full stack engineer as well as a cloud architect at Amazon Web Services. Daniel will be sharing with us on the topic of integrate with Pyth. Daniel, please take the floor.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining the workshop. My name is Daniel, and I'm a software engineer at Pyth Data Association. So basically today's main purpose is to share with you what Pyth is, and I'll be going through a series of live demo on how you can integrate Pyth into your smart contract, or say, if you want to build like an off-chain trading bot or whatever, basically. So there will be two demo, one using Solana and how you can integrate Pyth into your smart contract, and the other one for everything else, which is the off-chain purpose. But before that, let's start. So all right, so Pyth network. What is Pyth network? Basically, traditionally, we have like clearing houses, we have trading companies, we have banks, we have brokerage firms, and so on. And retail users would have to subscribe to them directly to get first-party data. And obviously, you don't get this data for free because these institutions, they have to make money, right? So if you subscribe to a Bloomberg terminal, it costs you like maybe 20K per year. And that is a very heavy price to pay, and not everyone can afford that. So what Pyth does, basically, we partner with all these institutions, and we get first-party data directly from them, and then we aggregate all this data using our on-chain program. We put it onto the blockchain where it is publicly verifiable and available, and anyone can query the blockchain to get the data. And then you can use it on whatever you want to do with it. For example, like I mentioned previously, if you want to build a trading bot or a borrowing lending platform, or derivative synthetics or infrastructure platform, and you need a way to price these assets, you can do that. So, just generally, that's how Pyth works. And sharing a little bit on the timeline for Pyth. On August 2021, Pyth Network mainnet went live, and then January 2022, we released the white paper, which is on the website. So if you're interested to learn more, feel free to visit the website. And we also had like 1B or Solana TVS. TVS stands for Total Value Secured. And then April 2022, right here, we have about 90% of Solana TVS. And so if you were in the crypto space in 2022, you know that NFTs were hot. And so we were basically competing for precious block space with these projects. And some of them would spam the network for the newest NFT drop, right? And hence that caused us to fail to land price updates as often as you want to. And so we started thinking about like other ways to solve this problem. So if you go to August 2022, we actually introduced PythNet. It went live. PythNet is basically a fork of Solana, but it is a separate network that is specially configured to be a proof of authority chain. And August 2022, right here, we partnered with CBOE, which is the Chicago Board Options Exchange. They're the largest US options exchange. Total options volume for 2022, I think, was like 3.4 billion contracts. So that was a pretty big deal for us. But yeah, generally that's it. And right now we have like more than 75 data providers, of which I will share more in depth with you in a little bit. We are live on 7 blockchains: Aptos, Aurora, BNB Chain, Ethereum, KuCoin, Optimism, Solana, of course, and more to come. We have over 100 integration partners. So these are basically consumers, dApps, whatever you want to call them, that are using our data. We have over 190 price feeds, which majority is crypto, of course. And then we also have equities, we have FX, we have metal. Right, and then we secure like 99% of Aptos TVS, 78% of Solana TVS, 10% of Aurora, and so on. All right. So we have about 75 total publishers, and if you look at this slide, it's actually a little bit difficult to see, but I'll just point out like some of the notable publishers to you. For example, we have like TradFi institutions like Jump Trading, which is right here, Jane Street, HRT, CBOE, Susquehanna, which is right here, and Two Sigma. If you're in the finance industry, you know, like these are very big finance players. And for CeFi, we have like Binance, which is the largest crypto exchange in terms of spot volume, as well as OKX, which is the somewhere here, which is the second largest after Binance. And for DeFi, we have 0x here and Orca, which is here. So we have been steadily growing the number of publishers from 41 in January 2022 to just last year, December, we have like about 78. In terms of data feeds, we had like 58 on January 2022, and now we have 190. And we are aggressively adding more and more price feeds. In terms of consumers, we have a bunch of consumers from a lot of different categories. For example, like AMM, your borrowing lending platform, your derivatives, your synthetics, your yield aggregator, CDP, infrastructure, options, structured products, and more. So Pyth apps integration, we started with Solana, but have since expanded to Aptos, BNB Chain, Aurora, Optimism, Ethereum, and more. And the way we do this is through Wormhole. We basically bridge the data, and whatever blockchain that Wormhole supports, we are able to easily scale and send our price updates to these target chains. Pyth address market, as I mentioned earlier on, is right now it stands at 77.5% on Solana. We have about 99% on Aptos, and on Aurora, we just started, so it's about 10%. And usually for Solana, we are basically like the go-to Oracle solution for DeFi applications, and all other Oracles are typically onboarded by protocols as backup, or usually they don't even have any backup. So right now we are connected to 7 blockchains. We're continuously aggressively adding more blockchains. We basically want our data to be available anywhere and everywhere. Right, so here are some quotes from the CEO of Venus, which is the premier borrowing lending platform on BNB Chain. We are live there. We are also live on Aptos, Ethereum, and Optimism. And Synthetics, basically, we recently just had a partnership with them, and they are using us, our off-chain Oracle solutions for their new V2 perps. Aurora, KuCoin. So what is the future of it? Basically, we want to expand to more blockchains. Some of the ones that you see here, for example, like Oasis, Arbitrum, Near, Silo, Algorand, Alcala, and so on. Yeah, that's a very quick introduction of Pyth. Right here, we have our resources, our GitHub, our Rust client, our Rust crates, JavaScript, NPM, Python, and Solidity. So right now, before we move on to the actual demo, let me show you how. Let me just give you an introduction, a walkthrough to the website. Right. So if you go to pyth.network, this is what you will see. The first thing you're going to see is the price widget here, where it has real-time, high-quality, first-party, low-latency data. So you can see BTC, ETH, BNB, Sol, Atom, right? Scroll down and you have our data providers, news, and so on. So let's say we want to check our price feeds, right? So the first thing you do is you click on this price feeds tab, and you can filter the asset class by crypto, equity, FX, or metal. So if you do equity, then you're able to get the equity data. Right now, we support the Dow Jones 30, which is basically some of the top 30 biggest equity. For example, like Apple, Amazon, Disney, Tesla, and so on. But we also do support FX, foreign exchange, and metal. Right. So right now, if you look at equity data, it says last updated is more than 1 minute ago because the market is closed, right? But when the market opens, you should be able to see this price ticking in real time. And that's actually pretty amazing because right now, if you go to Yahoo Finance or any other traditional finance aggregator site, the data that you get is 20 minutes delayed. It's not real-time data. Yeah, so I was saying, like, when the market opens, you should be able to see the price ticking in real time. And you're right now, like, this is probably the only place you could see like real-time live data, right? So you could also see like the historical data we have on the website. So if you want to do some analysis and stuff, you have some data to work with right here. And if you scroll down, you can see the price components. So these are our publisher. You can see like the price that they publish, the confidence level. Okay, so this is not a good example right now because the price feeds, the price feed is offline. But let me show you, for example, like BTC. You can see that the price is ticking in real time along with the confidence level. And the confidence level is important because there is no one true price for an asset, right? Like if you have Bitcoin that's trading on like 10 different exchanges, you cannot say that the price is 17,000, for example, because the price will be different from all these different exchanges. And so this is why we introduced a confidence level right here. So you have access to this data and you can do, more in-depth analysis on it, create strategies around it and stuff like that. So if you scroll down the price components, you're able to see like individual publisher with their price and their confidence interval. Generally, the lower the confidence, it's better, but of course we don't want like a super tight confidence like 0, because that might mean that there's some issue with that. Okay, anyway, let's continue. So that's like a very simple walkthrough for the website. Right now, I want to show you how you can use, first of all, the off-chain API that we provide and the SDK to stream real-time crypto, equity, FX, metal data onto your applications. Right. Okay, I see some question. I'll maybe take the question at the end. I'll try to leave 10 minutes so that we can answer the questions. But otherwise, yeah, let's continue. So you should be able to stream updates if you follow this example right here. Let me just bring up my code editor. Okay, so I've created a very simple application just to show you how you can use the SDK to stream data live onto your application. Let me just walk through the code. it's a very simple program. Basically, you would first have to declare the cluster. So we have PythNet, we have Solana mainnet beta, we have DevNet and testnet. But for this example, we'll be using PythNet. And then you would need your own RPC URL to pass into the connection. So this is a Solana connection. And then you need the Pyth program key. You can use this function that we have provided. And finally, you need to create the connection by passing in the Solana connection as well as the Pyth program key. And on line 15, you declare the on price change callback and provide both the product account and the price account. And basically over here, we just check if the symbol is Bitcoin USD, then we get the price and the confidence and we log it to the console. Otherwise, if the price is not available, then we just say price is not available. Right, so let's do this. So if you run this, you should be able to see reading from Pyth price feed, and then you can see real-time Bitcoin price stream onto your applications. We have the price right here. We also have the confidence interval. So you can do this for any other price feed, right? For example, if you want to do like Sol, then you should be able to get the data right here. So it's very simple. And with this data, you can, if you want to build like a trading bot, you want to arbitrage on different prices. For example, like if you see Pyth is reporting Sol at $16 and you go to maybe some other exchange like OKX or Binance and you see that it's trading at $15, right? So there's an arbitrage opportunity right there. You could do that, but basically it's up to you what you want to do with this data. Like there's no limits to it. But yeah, that's about it for the very simple like off-chain demo. Right now, let's move to the Solana smart contract demo. But before that, I want to show you the repository right here. So if you search for Pyth SDK RS, RS stands for Rust, you should be able to go to examples, Sol contract, and there is this package right here for you to play around with. So basically, this is a very simple, like you could say like a borrowing lending program where it calculates the loan to value information, and it tells you whether you're able to loan this amount of assets given your collateral. So my Wi-Fi right now is not the best, and so I have ran the script. I built it and deployed it, and I'm not gonna do it right here just because it's gonna take a long time and it might fail as well because of the RPC connection. But on your own time, if you follow these instructions, you should be able to build the program, deploy the program, and invoke a script to test with the program. Otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to go to our Discord and leave your questions there. But yeah, otherwise, let's take a look at the program. Right, so if we go to instruction.rf, we have the layout of the instructions. We have two instructions right here. We have init, which is just initializing the config, and then the actual instruction, which is loan to value, that takes in the loan quantity as well as the collateral quantity. Right, so the main logic where it lives in is in processor.rs. So we have the first instructions here init, which check if the signer key is the program ID, and if it's a signer, otherwise it will return an error. Or if it's already initialized, then it also returns an error. And then it tries to load the price feed from the account for the loan account as well as the collateral account. The second instruction, which is the more important one, is the loan to value instruction right here. Again, we check if the config is initialized. If it's not initialized, then we will return an error. Otherwise, if the price feed ID does not equal to the loan account key, or vice versa, the collateral price feed ID does not equal to the collateral account key, then we return another error. But mainly, we want to take a look at this block right here, 84 to 104 and 106 to 126. So right here, we calculate the maximum value of the loan, which is price plus confidence times the loan quantity times 10 to the power x of the exponent. And if you go to our documentation, let me just show you right here. So this is our documentation. And if you go to PythNet price feeds using price feeds, there's a section here about confidence interval where we explain clearly about what these things are and how you can, some of the best practices you can use with confidence intervals. So I'm not gonna explain it right here because it takes some time, but if you're interested, please do visit the documentation and read more about this. Basically what this is doing is just calculating the value of your loan, and it logs to the program. And over here is calculating the value of your collateral. And right here, we check if they use different exponent. Otherwise, if they use different exponent, then we normalize the value. And finally, we check whether the value of the collateral is higher. So yeah, it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. Let's try to, there's a simple invoke script right here that, basically tests the program. Maybe let's also quickly go through the script right here. Basically, we prepare the payer account, and then we prepare the create instruction which initialize the config right here. And then we invoke the loan to value instruction. So we see here, it says encode 0x1 in big ending. So this means that the loan quantity is 1, right? And this number right here stands for 3,000. So you can see that we actually pass in ETH and USDT into the function, which means that the ETH value is 1 and USDT is 3,000. And with the current ETH price at about, I think it's like 1,300, you should be able to, this program should allow you to borrow the amount because your collateral is more, right? Like it's 3,000, whereas you're borrowing 1 ETH, which is less than half of your collateral. Lastly, right here, we try to invoke the init instruction without authority. We basically generated a new key pair just to show that the program works, and then it should fail because the attacker doesn't have authority. So let me try running the script here. It might fail because it's going to request for an airdrop to the key pair, and it's been very flaky. So we might have to run it a couple of times. But let's hope that it succeeds. So right now it's airdropping to the payer account. Okay, I think it succeeded. It's creating the data account and initializing the config. All right, it's taking some time. checking loan to value ratio. In the meanwhile, let me check if there are some questions here. Yeah, okay. So we have the transaction hash right here. Let's just plug this into Explorer. I think we're on DevNet. Yeah, price of contents one on DevNet. So if you paste in the transaction hash on the Explorer, you should be able to see the instruction that we just ran, right? So the program logs the log of the program. So over here it says loan quantity is 1. So this is Ethereum. Collateral quantity is 3,000, which is USDT, and the value of the collateral is higher, which is this. So the program returns success. Obviously, this does nothing. It just calculated, and it's a very simple program just to show you how it works. But on your own application, on your own smart contract, you are able to do like much more complex stuff with it. But right now, let's try to change this value from 1 to 3. So 3 Ethereum should be 3,000 plus, which is more than your collateral. So if you run this, it should fail. Right, let's wait. Okay, it fails now because of the airdrop RPC issue, but let's try to run a couple of times. Okay, I'm just looking at the chat, and Andy brought up a good point of how we can find the public keys of the publisher section on the price feed page, but also how you can find this, how you can find this price feed ID on the website. So let me just show you how you can do that. So we go to the developers tab and scroll down, click on price feed IDs, and go to Solana DevNet and paste the price feed ID here, or yes, and it shows here crypto.eth/USD, right? So if you want to do like BTC, then you can just copy this and replace it here. It should work. The same for USDT. You paste it here, you should see that it says USDT, which is Tether. All right, great, perfect, just in time. So here it says transaction simulation failed, error processing instruction, custom program error 0x5. And the log here says that the loan quantity for Ethereum is 3, but your collateral quantity is 3,000. So the maximum loan value is more than your collateral, and hence it throws an error. So that's basically how the program works. This is a very simple program just to show you what you can do with the data, but obviously you can do much more complicated stuff with it. You can build a whole trading strategy around it and stuff like that. And I also want to show you how recently we've expanded to EVM chains. So we're live on BNB chain, Optimism, KuCoin chain, and more. So let's say you want to use our contract on BNB chain. We have like a code snippet right here where you can just almost just copy this and use it on your own smart contract, right? And the price ID here is the same, where you can go to price feed IDs and search for it here. I think this is, maybe it's just testnet, yeah. So that's the price feed ID that I just copied is BTC/USD on testnet. But if you want to use mainnet, then you could just search BTC USD and you should be able to get the price feed ID right here. Yeah, that's about it. I think we have like maybe 10 minutes left. So I just want to open up the floor to questions. Let's see if we have any questions on the chat. Okay, so someone asked if Pyth tells us which provider provides what price, like Binance $10 or OKX $11, and Mario answered yes, which is true. Yeah, they're kind of like semi-anonymous right now. So you're able to see like their pub keys, but it's more like a privacy reason, as publishers do not want to dox themselves at this stage, but it might change in the future. Yeah, I think that's about it. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, I think we can end the workshop early. Okay, I see a question. I understand that Pyth is an oracle and I'm not too familiar with the topic, so I apologize in advance. Are the oracles decentralized? Yes, so the oracle we initially deployed on Solana, right? So Solana is a decentralized network. So it's because Pyth lives on Solana, therefore it's decentralized. And when you create your programs on Solana, you are able to read the program. You're able to read Pyth price feeds directly through the program. So yeah, there's no single server that hosts Pyth program, and so using that logic, if it basically requires Solana the whole network to go down in order for the program not to work, and so that requires a significant attack vector, and that's not very as easily achievable as compared to just hosting your program on a single AWS instance. I hope that answers your question. I heard that Pyth is free at the moment. When will the charging start, and in what range the pricing is? It's a very good question. Right now, Pyth is free. We're trying to get more users on board to, just to use our data. We're not too focused on monetization right now. However, there are a couple options that we are looking at. For example, when we expanded to the EVM chains, the way we work is that we don't, right now on Solana, we try to publish every slot. But on other chains, we don't do that because it's very expensive. For example, like on Ethereum, if we try to publish every slot, it's going to be very expensive, right? And at the start, there might not be that many programs using us. So it's not going to be very efficient. So the way we look at this problem is, instead of pushing price updates to every slot for the target chains, we introduce a on-demand model. So then the risk, or rather the responsibility of getting the price, falls onto the consumer applications. So for example, like you have a borrowing lending platform that wanted to use Pyth data. We have an off-chain price service where they can query like the latest price data, and then when they decide to use this price at this time, they would then have to send a price update onto the blockchain, for example, on Ethereum. So that's definitely way more scalable for us, because first of all, it ensures that every price update is being used by some consumer, so there's no wastage right there. Secondly, we don't have to like burn so much money just hoping that someone uses the data. All right, another question. You mentioned using wormhole to publish on EVM chains. Does it mean EVM gets price update a bit slower? Yes. Right now, there is like a delay of maybe 2 to 3 seconds. We are using wormhole because wormhole already supports a bunch of different chains, and it's the most efficient way for us to send out price updates to these different chains. But of course, there's always a latency issue, and in the future we might look into a more efficient solution. But right now, I think wormhole is pretty good for what it does. So we're using Wormhole for that reason. What about integrating data from Bloomberg terminals that was mentioned earlier in the presentation? Yeah, that's a good idea. We're not too focused on doing that right now, but yeah, maybe in the future that can be one direction that we go. All right, are there any other questions? By the way, Mario and Andy is also from the Pyth team. So thank you guys for answering the questions and pointing them to the documentations and articles. Wouldn't the on-demand model slow down even more the price update? No, because you send, whenever you need the data, you query the price service and then you send the price updates in an atomic transaction. So meaning to say that you will always get the latest available data, but it might not be the same data as, it might not be the same price as when you query the price service, but you can be sure that you get the latest available data. Yeah, thanks Mario for mentioning that. We're all partnering with OpenBB, which is free version of Bloomberg Terminal. They're pretty cool, so check them out.
Does anyone have other questions? If not, I think we can end here. Sanchari, do you want to close the session?
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much, Daniel, for responding to all the questions, and of course, everyone for attending this workshop.